We are in Uasin Gishu County. We're accompanying the Correctional Services Principal Secretary, Mary Muthoni. There is a relocation scheduled for the Eldoret GK prison, but she will tell us details about the prison reforms, most likely, and of course, what is in her program today. P.S. Karibu sana.
Thank you very much, and I'm happy to be in Eldoret. It's a cool place. Ngeria farm it's actually a farm. We have vast land, and why we have come here today is basically to see how we can best utilize our land in Uasin Gishu, and that includes Eldoret Farm and Kitale Farm. As you very well know, our Correctional Services Department, our key mandate is to correct people, it is to rehabilitate, and to ensure that when they go out there for reintegration, they are able to reintegrate in the society in the very best way. So here we are going to look into the welfare of the prisoners, the welfare of our prison officers, and ensure that we are able to come up with the very best way forward to improve on our prison facilities and ensure they are habitable for our officers and the prisoners.
What are your immediate priorities probably in the next 2-3 years in terms of enhancing the welfare of prisoners?
First, before we even improve on that, we want to decongest. We want to reduce the number of prisoners that are in our facilities. Already 50% of our prisoners are remandees. And this really is a very high number, because a remand is a person who you cannot utilize in any way because they have not been sentenced. So really occupying space and equally resources for the government. And the second thing is to ensure that the human dignity is at par with the international standards, and that is why we are proposing the one prisoner, one bed, one mattress. Sometimes coming into conflict with the law does not mean that it is the end of the world. These people change, and they change for the better. And when they come out here and they are able to reintegrate with us, we see individuals that are very prominent, and they are very they can be able to improve on their lives on their own, for the community, for themselves, and for Kenya at large. So we are very keen about the welfare of both our officers and equally the prisoners. Improve on their dignity and the spaces, because this is where they should be happier. When you're correcting an individual, again, it is very much important that you show them empathy. And that's why we are also looking into having them sleep on a bed and covering themselves and on a mattress instead of sleeping on the floor.
Finally, before I let you go, the relocation exercise, particularly in Homa Bay, probably in Eldoret, and other requests that will come from county governments, how feasible is it, bearing in mind the big amounts of money that are needed to relocate? And again, if these requests come from all the counties, then what happens?
Okay, this is a process that has taken a long time, really, and this is not something which is really new, and that is why we have our committee to really give us the very best opinion on how to do it. First and foremost, if you look at our many infrastructure, it's so dilapidated. There are prisons which were built during the colonial era to punish Africans. So the very first thing that we should think about is not even about how we will do it, how much. It is to think that we need to improve the standards of the infrastructure of our prisons to cater for better rehabilitation. We are not punishing them. So they need to be in an environment that is so conducive to ensure that even psychologically they are able to function. Therefore, apart from other issues, it is a process that we are also looking at in a long term. Get designs that can be replicated across the country, similar designs for our prisons or for our rehabilitative centers. This will come with many other things that we can utilize and see our inmates really benefiting from the same. Already we have workshops where we have them training for courses like sewing, and they have NITA examinations. We have carpentry, masonry. We have all those courses that they even sit for national examinations, and they are given certificates that really help them when they go out there. Again, we need to improve them. So really, it's not just moving our prisons from one place to the other, but it's a planning that will help us, and we are looking forward to many more years to come. The buildings you see here, some of them were built in the years of 1963 when Kenya was gaining its independence, So really, we need to think through about this as we are also looking at the legislative part of our laws, our legal instruments, our Prisons Act, our Probation Act, Chapter 90, Chapter 64, Cap 93. We are looking at all this in a holistic manner, and Correctional Services Department will never be the same again.
Thank you, Madam PS. Thank you for your time. The Principal Secretary in charge of Correctional Services, Mary Muthoni, speaking to us this morning as regards prison reforms. Back to you, Brian Kimani in studio.